I'm Elisa Mortensen, and this is UndoRedo. Let's take a look at all the things that happen in life that we would like to undo and have a chance to redo.
Welcome to the UndoRedo podcast. I am in sunny California with my family and we are on a beach. So if you hear any noise in the background, it's just because I took a time out because I am up to the challenge of having this be requested from a listener that I share my story. So this is episode 2.5 and it's kind of a pop-up version. And I will say that I feel this to be an inspired request because it's not something I would have chosen to do right at this time. Most likely because of the amount of discomfort and vulnerability it takes to do so. But I'm up for it. And it did resonate as something inside me that could use some practice and some growth in that area. So I am Elisa Mortensen. I am a wife to a police and fire first responder. He commutes to a nearby city with 1.25 million people in it. I'm a mother of 4. And, well, I guess I better say 5 because I must include my younger sister who has special needs, who I have always cared for on a regular basis. I'm an entrepreneur of several different businesses over the years. I am a helper of aging grandparents through their passing and aging parents at present. So I am just like anyone else. I'm trying to manage this responsibility-covered chaos that we know as life. Years ago, I was living in what I would now describe as a self-made trap, a self-made emotional and physical trap. I was not truly enjoying my life, but I wasn't realizing it at the time. I didn't question anything about it. Life was just happening, and that may sound like I was accepting of it or like I was rolling with it, but what was really happening, looking back on it, compared to what I do know now, I was merely just surviving and kind of tolerating my life. So that's not to say that I didn't have love and enjoyment and play and gratitude and all those things, but behind the scenes, I was very unaware of the way that my mind was processing it all. I look back and I see that most of my time was spent, and again, this is looking back on what I know now, I spent most of my time beating myself up for the countless imperfections that I saw. These imperfections were all mistakes, according to me, that needed to be fixed, like quote unquote fixed. I was convinced that none of them should have gone that way and that it was all wrong. So everything that was not meeting my standard was there for me to quote unquote fix, which fixing honestly equaled complaining about and blaming for my lack of happiness and fulfillment in life. I did truly believe that life was meant to be hard. I was meant to discipline myself and willpower through everything because I had all the evidences of all the things that I worked hard for and all the things that I planned out from my childhood. They were just ripped away from me every time. And then shortly after, I would watch as the opposite of my dreams or plans would just fall right into its place. So, needless to say, just discouragement. And that's when I would call what I did like abandoning myself would look like. So, next, I kicked in. I kicked in trying to control the situations around me. I got really good at this. Like, guys, I got really good at this. I was controlling my people. I was demanding that they be the way that I wanted. I controlled myself and I demanded that I be strong and that I never be weak again and that everything and everyone must fall in line with what I say because what I decide is what should happen. So this seems logical, right? It seems logical that we would be like, if I can control all the situations and variables in my life, I'm going to feel better. And I was going to feel better. But then I didn't. So it put a whole new layer of pain onto myself. Looking back on it, it was exhausting to have figured out how it should be because all of that emotional pain turned into physical pain. I entered really what I would describe as like a realm of chronic body pain, because there's no other way to describe it when you're in it all day, every day for such long periods of time. Like not being able to move or do as I please. I just remember wanting to put my socks and shoes on or changing my clothes. I wanted to do that with ease, and everything hurt. It just became an unbearing chore. So, pain was daily and hourly battle for me, and that too was robbing me of my happiness and peace. So that got added to the list, added to all the other things, and I tried very many different modalities for relief. Some were helpful, all were temporary. Now, I'm going to fast forward a bit to 2019 when I found coaching, because these new ways of questioning and answering were planted in my mind. Some possibilities that weren't previously there, those possibilities were providing relief for me. Nothing had changed. No provable relief. I couldn't prove to you that I was having relief. Nothing had changed. Not the behaviors of those around me, not the anguish in my body with its pain, not my finances, not the way I was overdoing caregiving for my people, because that came with guilt. I was having to do it all because I knew no one else would, and I knew no one else could do it like I needed it to be done. So that's my whole list, okay? And it was all still there. But these things I was learning about and curious about and started practicing, those were what became transforming to me. Now, I can't be too specific other than what I've told you on this step-by-step process of how I came to it, because when I got curious about it, I found my own answers. So just stopping enough to ask yourself, what is the next step, is my process. So they became these curiosity and just kind of observing myself in the moment of things I didn't want to do, and in the moment of the things that really worked that I did want to do, became what connected me. And there was truth in it. The things that didn't work for me anymore, and the ways that I was thinking about life that were false, I now could see clearly. So what connected me to my divine potential was this curiosity about how these questions and answers were happening in my mind. Now, I had at this time opened my abilities, and somehow opening your mind and questioning things in this way, I was able to tap into myself, into me. And I quit looking outside of myself for the answers. I found my power. Here it is, pay attention. I found my power in choice. I found it in decision making. I used choice to connect to my Father in heaven in a way that I hadn't tried before. And it wasn't anything other than I was looking between the difference of true and false with the thoughts that came into my mind. Choice became real to me. I guess I better show you an example here, because just for clarification purposes, like me needing to control everybody so I could feel better was a false belief. That was a false thought. Me needing someone else to do it the way I thought it should have been done because that was the right way was a false thought. So I could now see that no one needed to show up in any certain way in order for me to be happy. Nobody had to do the thing that needed to be done in the exact way I would have done it in order for me to be okay. So the use of my agency and allowing their agency is really distilled down to what became the difference between true and false. And that connected me to my Father in heaven in a way that I had never tried before, in all the little ways all day. Choice became real to me. Discerning between what I can do something about and what I can't do something about was so clear. I could see the lies that were offered to me everywhere. I could see the lies that were offered to me in media, in my own mind, everywhere. But with my focus on what was true, my decisions were now aligning with my true direction, in my true connection. So my mind became filled with belief. It became filled with curiosity, and that made me unstoppable. I was no longer being thrown off into despair of all of these ways of false thinking. And I could more easily regroup. It didn't stop there either. That's not like that's all that happened. It didn't stop. I became 100% accountable for my experiences in life, for my life's total experiences, for the love, the relationships, all of it. I intentionally and deliberately set routines in place to be able to keep up and manage these physical and emotional and spiritual needs. Life is now rich and deeply fulfilling, like more than I ever knew was possible. I'm bursting with excitement for what is to come. I've invested a lot of time, education, money, and persistence into figuring this out for myself. I meet with a personal coach every week to stay on track and keep aligned, because minds can get messy between all the thoughts that we have and what's really working for us and what's really serving us and not. And it helps to have more eyes on it. So I have someone there with me, and I also have a daily heavenly connection in prayer and meditation for strengthening my commitments and making sure, like ensuring my connection stays there. So because of all of these experiences, my education, my training, I know I can walk you through getting there too. I know I can. I had to undo everything that was on a rinse and a repeat and deliberately choose what will happen in its place instead. Now, I had to intentionally interrupt the cycle each time it wanted to start. Or if I was halfway through the cycle, that's an okay place to stop it. I just never stopped practicing that. It is a gentle redirect, because I don't want to go back to where I knew everything and how it should be done, and that just caused me a lot of pain. That becomes an antagonistic relationship with yourself, and that will immediately put a stop to change. So finding another way to talk to yourself and others about it. No one likes to be told what they should be doing different. Like, you should be this. You have to this. Why, forcing and controlling things, even yourself, it just will not create that loving direction and change that is needed. It puts a stop to it. You could borrow my thought. I tell myself, whoops, I forgot. I really wanted to do this other thing, like this other way now. So that would be welcoming it. Oh shoot, I'm doing it again. Okay, so I really wanted to do it this other way. And now that I see that I'm doing the same thing, I'm going to stop and try to implement this other way that I really, really wanted to change. I really wanted this other way. Not forcing or controlling anything into it, okay? Coaching is so powerful. I had no idea how powerful and how detailed and how specifically tailored to myself coaching could be. So if you want to try it with me for free, sign up at lifecoachalisa.com and we can have a quick chat, and I can show you in just that 20 to 30 minute chat how powerful it can be in your mind, in your life, in your circumstances. Just all for you. Or you can enter your email on my website, lifecoachalisa.com, to be sent a free video for finding relief now. And that will come just right to your email, and you can watch that whenever you need relief, and it can remind you of that. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, and soon to be sometime a YouTube channel. So share with whoever comes to your mind when you're listening to these podcasts, because that is how the heavens reach us, is through each other. I love you all, and I thank you for allowing me to share my story with you. I hope you join me on this journey just towards peace and fulfillment and connection that we never knew was possible, that we didn't think we had access to, and that we thought could be for everyone else but us. But subscribe to be notified when more podcasts come out, because I still have Basics 3 and 4 episodes that will be published. So subscribe to know when those come out, and stay tuned. Thanks.